Josh Wilson here from FloorHSFootball.com coming to you with another video we're going to do here on FloorHSFootball.com. We've been talking to the state championship coaches that are taking their teams to the state championships this week in Tallahassee. And joining us now is the head coach of the Cocoa Tigers, Ryan Schneider, going into is in his fifth season there as the coach there at Cocoa. And coach, I before we get started, I gotta mention something here. The sportsmanship of your team Friday night, which I know you preach sportsmanship big time with your team, but it was cotton photos. I mean, I got some photos that eventually we'll get on social media here that someone I know, and they got the photos, and some of the hugging. I mean, this one I got here, Jaquez Joyner hugging Bryson Bowen from Bradford. I mean, picking him up after a play, giving him a hug. I mean, and your guys, your coaches giving, your assistant coaches giving hugs to the Bradford players, giving them words of encouragement. You preach sportsmanship, and I just want to point that out, and I want to really give you props up for what you do, because I know that is something that kind of gets lost out there, especially, when more people are quick to point out bad sportsmanship, but they forget about the good sportsmanship, and that right there says a lot about your program, and I need to point that out and give you props for that.
I really appreciate it, man. We have a great group of kids at Cocoa, great group of coaches, and it's we have a lot of respect for Bradford, a lot of respect for South Sumter. We have a lot of respect for all the teams we play, and it sucks when we have to lose in the fourth round. We make it so close, and I'm proud of our kids. But we talk about all the time that we just don't want good football players. We want good human beings who are going to do the right thing and going to do the things the right way. And I'm proud to be a part of Cocoa. And like I said, man, it's just a great group of human beings.
Yeah, absolutely, and with that, I mean that win over Bradford Friday night, that was probably the closest y'all have been challenged all during the playoffs here. I mean, you go look at it this season, with what y'all done here, going 3 losses on the season, but those 3 losses were against formidable opponents. One that's playing a state championship, one that is actually a team that you coached with before you came to Cocoa, so. Let's talk about the season. I mean, what did you, going through all this, you didn't schedule these games for no reason at all. You scheduled them because you wanted these guys to be ready, because you don't know what the playoffs are ever going to throw at you. And of course, Friday night really showed you when Bradford threw everything at the kitchen sink, especially in the second half, like, okay, wait a second, hold on, we're gonna have to fight for this one, and sure enough, y'all did, and but what do you tell the kids when you set the schedule up here every season, especially when you have to go knock on doors to find games?
Yeah, we pride ourselves at Cocoa to play the best of the best year in and year out. It gets us ready for when you have to go to a South Sumter, when you have to go to a Bradford, and these these wild atmospheres that we've faced adversity before. We've been in big game atmospheres. We've been in packed stadiums. We've been, to places where they have student sections and they're all going nuts. And, it just gets us ready for our final goal, our goal of competing for a state championship. And, I'm proud of the kids. I'm proud of the way we handled it. I give a ton of credit to Bradford. They fought their butts off. They did everything they could. But we're lucky enough to be able to pull all the win.
And let's talk about this team here that, the 3 losses, I mean, y'all played, it's Seminole, you played St. Thomas Aquinas, who's playing, thing. And, let's talk about St. Thomas Aquinas for a minute, because you got a history with them. You were assistant coach there. What did you, let's talk about, what do you still apply from your days at St. Thomas Aquinas that it applies here at Cocoa? Because I know, again, you were part of state championship teams there at St. Thomas Aquinas. You're doing the same thing here at Cocoa, leading to a state championship game, and hopefully, I mean, this year you'll be able to, clinch your first state championship as a head coach.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be at St. Thomas and U School with Roger Harriet. Roger's one of my best friends. He's a great person. He's taught me a lot, and there's a lot of similarities between the two programs, and just of toughness and tell you the truth, the biggest similarity of both programs is the standard. We hold ourselves to a standard of what we're going to be on and off the field, what type of people we're going to be, what we want with our program. We hold ourselves to standard with the coaches, how much we're going to pour into the kids, how much we're going to be there for them, not just as coaches, but as exaggerated role models. And it's I was lucky enough to learn from Coach Harriet, um, you know, but I'm also smart enough to surround myself with really great people who love Cocoa High School, and they love the kids we work with, and they, we don't get paid really anything, and we're out there pouring our souls into these kids just to better their lives and to make sure that they get an opportunity for them to reach their goals.
No, absolutely. Let's talk about your guys first here, because I mean, let's talk about Blake Boda. Blake Boda has just been on fire for you this season. I mean, just looking at it, y'all have only played 13 games out of out of the potential of, you played the 9 games in the regular season, 4 in the playoffs. Here, 13 games. This will be game 14 coming up here Friday night, again, the Class 2S State Championship at Gene Cox Stadium in Tallahassee. Coach, I mean, as I mentioned, Blake Boda, I mean, over 3,700 yards, including the game from last week, 47 touchdowns. I mean, I know there's a potential, single season state record passing of touchdown, the passing touchdowns here, in the season. He would have to probably 9 on Friday in order to break it. But
that's gonna be difficult.
That's going to be difficult. Again, when we talk about the opponent here in the moment, that would be Florida High. But but Blake, what is special about Blake? Especially put up 3,700 yards. The thought of 4,000 yards passing in a season. I don't think that's too far fetched to say that he couldn't get that on Friday night. But the numbers that he has, you don't usually talk about these numbers in a high school quarterback. 2,500, 3,000 yards. Yeah, you get those few handful every year, but almost 4,000 yards. This is a rare breed of a quarterback here.
Yeah, he's a special player, man. I think, I'm a little biased. I think he should be the Florida Gatorade Player of the Year. He's led our team. He's been a leader for us. He's a kid that we're counting on, but it's just not all about him. We have a great group of receivers who are getting open, making plays. Our O-line has done an unbelievable job. Our running backs, with pass protection with this, then also with keeping the running game, honest, that you can't, load up and only have 5 in the box and be too high the entire time. That really will attack you that way. But, Blake, individually, he's having a great year. But the thing I'm more proud about him is just the quality human being is. He's a kid that is already over a 4 or is well over a 4.0 GPA. He's already pretty much graduated high school. He's just a wonderful person to be around. There's not, other than all the stuff, all the bracelets and stuff he wears on his wrist that I was about, and he needs a haircut. He's walking around, with his long hair, looking kind of goofy. Other than that stuff, man, there's nothing negative you can say about the kid. He's just so fun to be around, and we've been lucky at Cocoa that we've been able to have some really good quarterbacks in the last 5 years, from DJ Arroyo to Davin Widener and now Blake Boda, and hopefully we can finish it off with a state championship win.
No, absolutely, and of course, the one thing, Boda was really had a favorite target Friday night, and I suspect that he might be a potential target again. Of course, he's your leading receiver in stats right now, and is Javen Boggs, and I mean 39 receptions, 702 yards, 6 touchdowns, and I mean, he got 2 of them Friday night. So I mean, I know, yeah. I mean, hey, it was like next thing here's Boda, and the next thing you know, it's Boggs downfield real quick. So I mean, what's special about Boggs here, as a player too?
He's just a young receiver who, he's only a sophomore, who has extremely strong hands. You get him the ball, he catches everything. He works, all the time of getting better and get strong, becoming a better receiver. But, it's the receiving core. It's not like we have a guy who's out there. Blake's going to throw for, whatever he is, 3,700 yards, 3,800 yards. And it's not like we have a guy that has, 1,200 yards receiving. It's the whole receiving core. We feel like we have 7 to 8 receivers that are legit, dudes. We rotate all the time, and we just feel like, we're playing really good football right now, and we just got to keep it going. It's all about, how we handle the state championship atmosphere and how we handle the week of preparation.
And then that's a big thing right there is the preparation and all that. Looking real quick for the rest of the stats here, rushing Anthony Bridgewater 614 yards. I mean, again, you're not so much relying on the run game is because Blake has been able to throw that ball up there and being able to get the complete numbers and stuff. But defensively, looking at Samadri Hawkins, 95 tackles on the season so far. Sacks, Dadrius Dorsey, 9.5 sacks. Jameer Smith, 4 interceptions, and he got one last week, right, as it sealed the deal for y'all there in that win there against Bradford. So, what is it about the defensive side of the ball for y'all? Because I know that has been a big part for y'all too as well. Not just offense. They say defense wins championships, so you do have the defense here too as well.
Yes, sir. Coach Matt Diesel and our defense staff has done a great job. We have 9 returning starters from last year's team, on defense. So we knew that would be a strength of the team. We're logical kids that can run around and, to have great athletes in the secondary and, that we're able to do a lot of different type of things in the secondary, a lot of different type of zones. And, we're just playing good football right now. And we have to, keep it going pretty much.
No, absolutely, and that's a big thing. And let's talk about your game this week here that you got coming up here. The game on Friday night, the big game here, and that is a state championship game against Florida High. Florida High is coming in at 14-0. They were in the state semifinals last year, played in the state championship game in 2019. But for y'all, y'all just finished playing in your 16th, the Cocoa 16th straight the state semifinal. So what is it about Florida High coming into this? What do y'all have to do to be ready and be prepared for Florida High that for a team that has played in the state championship game, has been close again, but they got their own brand of football there with Jared Hickman's program.
Yeah, they do a great job. I got a lot of respect for them and the program. They're someone who is known throughout the state. Everyone knows about Florida High, and they're a damn good football team. They're big up front. They have athletes that can attack you and can hurt you if you're not ready for them. Their quarterback's playing good football right now, and they're a team that they do a little bit of everything. They're good enough to run the ball. They're good enough to throw the ball. Defensively, they're multiple. It's gonna be a challenge. They play a lot of kids. It's gonna be a challenge, man. But when you're in the state of Florida, you get to the state championship game. You're playing someone good. It's not. This isn't another state where there might be one dominant team. In the state of Florida, you get to the Final Four, you get to the state championship. You're playing a team that has really good football players, and you have to be ready to go.
No, absolutely, and of course that's a big thing right there. Is playing great teams, and I just real quick, I know given again, Coach at St. Thomas Aquinas, what this whole thing with the Metro Suburban. I mean, do you wish you were playing a team from South Florida versus playing a team from Tallahassee in the state championship, or does it really matter? Just put your best 11 against their best 11 and have at it.
I'm a simple football coach, man. That suburban metro stuff's for the politicians and the more educated people. I'm just worried about who they tell me to play, and and worried about the 50 kids that we have to deal with, the 50 teenagers, and that's all I worry about. Whoever they tell us to play, we'll line up and play. We don't care if it's Florida High. We don't care if it's the Miami Dolphins. If they want to play on I-95, we'll line up on I-95 and we'll get ready to go.
You'll even line up right next to the river if you have to.
Let's go. We don't care. I told our kids, man, it doesn't matter if we're playing in Gene Cox Stadium or someone's practice field. Doesn't matter. We're going to line up. We're going to play the damn game, and Cocoa football is coming.
No, absolutely. And Coach, again, the Class 2S State Championship game, Cocoa versus Florida High, Friday night, 7 o'clock kickoff at Gene Cox Stadium in Tallahassee. Should be an electric atmosphere there for that game. And we look forward to seeing you. We'll see you Friday night and for the biggest game of the year, the State Championship game. Coach, appreciate it for your time, and we'll see you again.
Thank you. Go Tigers.
Appreciate it. That was head coach Ryan Schneider from Cocoa right there joining us here on FloridaHSFootball.com talking state championship football. We definitely appreciate him stopping by here, and we'll have more videos with the coaches here and more videos dealing with state championship games here as we go through the course of the week with Tallahassee, and of course next week again with the games in Fort Lauderdale. I'm Josh Wilson. Thank you for watching. You're right here on FloatHSFootball.com.